Greetings, beautiful people. Welcome back to Fine XYZ. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe. We are still on the road to WASSCE 2026. Let's try this question. At Bueman Senior High School, there were 1,000 boys and a few number of girls. 12 out of 25 of the total number of students that were successful in the WASSCE 2025 was made up of 50% of boys and 2 out of 5 of the girls. We have been tasked to find the number of girls in the school. What do we know? We know the number of boys is 1,000. So let's represent that. So the number of boys is 1,000. What additional thing do we know? We also know the number of girls. Do we know the number? We don't know. So let's represent the number of girls with the variable g. Then, so what is the total number of people at Bueman Senior High School? We have to add the number of boys and the number of girls. So total will be 1,000 plus g. Now 1,000 is a constant, g is a variable. Since we don't know the value of g yet, we can't put the two together. So the total number of students will be 1,000 plus g. Now what happens to this 1,000 plus g? We are additionally told that 12 out of 25 of the total. Now what is the meaning of off? Off means let's multiply. So let's represent that. So 12 out of 25 times the total. What represents the total? 1,000 plus g. Now this represents the successful candidate. They are successful. But what is the component of this successful candidate? We were told that they are made up of two components, the boys and then the girls. But what is the component of the boys? The component of the boys in this successful number of students is 50% of the boys is part of this successful candidate, and 2 out of 5 of the girls is also part of this candidate. So let's represent that. So 50% of the boys. So 50% of boys, and what is the boys? 1,000. 50% is the same as 50 out of 100 times 1,000, and what is 50% of 1,000? That will give us 500. So the number of boys that were successful is 500. 2 over 5 of, so let's multiply. What is the number of girls? That is g. So this simplifies to be 2g out of 5. So this represents the successful girls. Now when we put these two together, they are supposed to give us the total number of successful candidates. So it means that 500 plus 2g over 5 should give us 12 out of 25 times 100 plus g. Now this part represents the boys and this part represents the girls. In all, when we put them together, we have our total number of successful candidates. Since we have a fraction, let's eliminate the fraction by multiplying through by the LCM. And what is the LCM of 5 and 25? And that is 25. So we are going to multiply each term by 25. So we are going to have 25 multiplying 500 plus 2g over 5 also multiplying 25 is equal to 12 out of 25 multiplying 1,000 plus g. This also multiply by 25. Then 5 divides 25. How many times? That is 5. 25 divides 25. That will leave us with 1. So what is 25 times 500? That will give us 12,500 plus 2g multiplying 5 will give us 10g is equal to, now we have 12 multiplying 1,000 plus g. So let's expand this term. So 12 times 1,000 will give us 12,000. Then 12 times g will give us 12g. Let's repeat this expression. So we have terms with g and we have terms without g. So we are going to put all the terms with g on one side and all the terms without g on the other side. So I can do this by, since we have positive 10, I'll do negative 10g on both sides. And since we have positive 12,000, I'll do negative 12,000 on both sides. Then 12,500 minus 12,000 will give us 500. Then 10g minus 10g will give us 0. 12,000 minus 12,000 will give us 0. Then 12g minus 10g will leave us with 2g. Since we are looking for g, let's divide both terms by 2. So how many 2 are in 500? That will leave us with 250. So the number of girls at Bueman Senior High School were 250 girls. Now let's verify this solution. Now we know that the total number of girls is 250. So what will be the total number of candidates? That will leave us with 1,250. Now out of this 1,250, we know 12 out of 25 of them were successful. So let's find 12 out of 25 times 1,250. That will give us 600. So we know 600 students were successful in the WASSCE. But let's look at the components. How many boys were part of this 600? We know that 50% of the boys. So the boys is 500 and the girls is 2 over 5 of the girls. And we know that the girls are 250. So if we do 2 out of 5 of 250, 5 divides 25, that will give us 5. Then we add a 0. Then 50 times 2 will give us 100. So when you put 500 and 100 together, we'll get our 600, which represents the number of successful candidate in WASSCE 2025. It means that we have a valid solution. So that is what I have for you. If you found this helpful, kindly leave a comment, share this video to all your friends, and I'll be back with another video. I'm out.